Are you working with someone you can't stand? We've all been there. Working with people I want to punch in the throat has been called relatable and laugh out loud hilarious. Read the stories about all the crazy people Jen Mann has worked with over the years. Find out who she wants to punch in the throat. Working with people I want to punch in the throat is now available everywhere books are sold.
Hi, I'm Denise Grover-Swank.
And I'm Jen Mann.
And we are two midlife mamas. And you know what? I looked at that damn whiteboard again.
You gotta be kidding. Denise, this is like episode 80,000.
Okay, well, I will say that I've been talking about this podcast and like videos and stuff, and I keep calling it Midlife Bites on those videos. So at least I'm doing that and not calling it the wrong thing.
Thank you for promoting my
free advertising for your Facebook group.
I saw that on your video this week, and you're like, I was talking about it in Midlife Bites, and I was like, no, two Midlife Mamas. It is confusing, though. We are too many places.
We are a lot. I was just thinking about that today, that we are, at least I am. I know you are too. You have probably more groups than I do.
I don't know. You have all those reader discussion groups,
but once a book comes out and it's been out for a month or two, those just like die off. Okay. I don't pay much attention to those anymore. But yeah, you have very active groups.
Speaking of reader discussion groups, is there a group for A Cry in the Dark yet?
Yes, there is.
So you guys, I don't know when this podcast, like we tape them, I don't know, 4 at a time or something like that. Yes. And I don't know what happens to them. And then later on, Denise will be like, today's the day we're going to do this. So make a list of all the things you don't like or something. But whenever you listen to this, just know that last week, Denise released a new book called A Cry in the Dark, which did all right, when you say.
Yeah,
did okay.
So I should own my accomplishments, right?
I think so. That was
episode number 9, I guess.
So let's own it.
Okay, so that book hit number 9 on the top 10 Apple book sales last week. And number 83 on the USA Today list. So
crazy town.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I was saying
you were talking about your book, which is amazing. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know what to expect because it was a first book of a new series, and sometimes my readers are open to a new series, and sometimes they aren't, and they were totally on board with this one. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, that makes me excited.
Well, I have it downloaded. I haven't started yet because I don't want to stay up all night. Yeah. And everyone who's like reading it keeps talking about it. I keep like just sort of skimming because I don't want spoilers, but like people, your readers are really good not to spoil.
Yes,
I will say.
Kind of got us, and like I've started, like I put all the posts on moderation because we had a few people that were posting like mean, ugly things, and then it would get left up there before we delete it, and people would get all upset. So we just put the whole group on moderation. So like,
I never understood that. Like, why join an author's group just so you can trash her?
Yeah, I know. Well, and not even just trash me, trash other readers sometimes, and
Oh well, that's just the internet.
Yeah. So but why join the group? And so
be a dick. So, well, I'm very excited for you, and I'm looking forward to reading it this weekend, and I think I'll probably, based on the reviews I've read, I'll be done in 24 hours, so I'm very excited.
I know, like, you never know. Like, I used to have a bunch of beta readers. Yeah. Did you ever have beta readers when you wrote your book?
One time, and it really wasn't that helpful to me. I'm kind of, I like to do the things the way I like to do things.
Right, exactly.
And it also made me realize that I am a terrible beta reader, because if that's what you're supposed to do, that's not what I do.
Right. So, well, usually when I had beta readers, it was more for like, they lose interest in any part of the story. Did anything not make sense? Did it all flow? Was there anything that just like they didn't understand? But now I write too fast for beta readers.
Yes. You write too fast for readers, right?
Yeah, right? And so by the time when a book comes out, it's usually only been read by me and 3 other people, the editors. Yeah. And so like I'm never sure. Like I'm always hoping that my editors were truthful and they said they liked it. But I paid them, so are they really going to tell me that they hated it? So,
I don't know. I've had editors give me harsh feedback.
I mean, I don't know about you, but like I'm like uber sensitive about like what they say. Yeah. So like I have a copy editor that I use, and she'll just send it back and not make any comments about it, and I'm like, did she not like it? She didn't like this one. But then the last time she looked at it and she was like, oh my gosh, I loved it. I can't wait for the next one. But then like my developmental editor on this one, she didn't like say, she didn't get like all gushy like she really does. But then at the same time, we were like on a tight deadline because I had more of a revision than we expected. And so, yeah, but I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, she didn't like it. She didn't think it was that good. And so is it that good? Are readers going to like it? And
well, from what I'm seeing with your readers, they really like it. And they especially like the mystery, that the twist was a good twist, which is always satisfying.
Yes. I always try really, really hard to have a twist.
Yeah. And so for me, I don't like it when an editor comes back and tells me something isn't funny. That's the only thing. Yes. Like if you tell me it's boring, I can deal with that. But if you don't, if you're like, I don't know that I laughed that much. I'm like, fuck you, it was funny.
Right?
So then I'm like, I need to find a new editor, clearly, because you obviously don't know funny. But no, that is my only thing I get sensitive about, is if someone tells me that they didn't laugh. Like when I look at like the 1-star reviews on Amazon or something like that, and they're just like, I'm not sure what everybody's all excited about. This woman's not that funny. I'm like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah, that's like the ultimate insult, right?
Like, please just tell me I'm a moron instead.
Yeah. And so for me, the ultimate insult is my writing. Yeah. This is the worst writing ever. And I'm like, I work really hard on that. But what I don't do is then comment and tell them they don't know what they're talking about.
I don't either. I just screenshot it and put it on Facebook. But other than that, nothing. I don't get involved.
I don't do that because my readers will go find that comment and then comment on it, and I'm afraid there's going to be some kind of comment war.
Well, there was a big brouhaha a couple, like a week ago of an author doing that, and now she left the name in, but I don't leave the name in typically. But even then, like I realized
it's not hard to find.
No,
like if you they can.
You don't have a million comments on it, like you can find it. And so I realized after kind of reading all the I don't know, just all the stories about it last week, I was like, okay, I got to stop doing that. Because, like, I might inadvertently, trash somebody's life because he left me a 1-star review because he was in a bad mood one day. Like, that's really crazy.
Exactly.
Because people are insane.
Well, and I say that everyone is entitled to their opinion. If they don't like the book, that's fine. Just post it in a review. Don't post it in my readers group.
Exactly. Exactly. So, that's...
My fragile psyche can't take it.
Well, I just feel like that's my sacred ground. Like, that's my house.
Like, I consider it my house. Yes. And that's the same as walking in my house at a cocktail party and saying, your book totally sucks.
Yes. Like, I'd rather
People do that, but I'm like, that's so rude.
I don't know which is worse, though, because I'm always like, oh, tell me to my face. But then again...
I don't want to have them tell me to my face. I would rather live in blissful ignorance.
Yeah.
Post it in a review. That's fine with me. Don't email me.
Oh, yeah.
No. I don't want to hear it. In fact, I will start reading it, and if I see it's negative, I won't finish the email.
Oh, yeah.
I won't. I'll skim it, and I won't finish.
Delete.
So you wasted your time.
Right.
Yeah.
Funny. Well, congratulations. Very big deal.
Thank
Go
you.
get a Cry in the Dark. I remember when you teased it a few months ago, because of course you wrote a book and published it in a few months.
Yeah.
While I'm still here, like, I've got like a chapter done. But when you teased it, I remember reading the tease and I was like, yeah, I don't care what it is. Like, that is a great book. Like, I want to read that book.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome to write. And I'm writing the second one now, and it's like, I love it.
It'll be out by Christmas.
Yeah.
So.
I've discovered, though, so the first book, had been in my head for a long time. And when I write a book that's been in my head and I've thought a lot about it, I struggle to write those.
Yeah.
Where if I have a book like this one, I just kind of know a little bit about the mystery, and then I start writing it, and it just flows. Like, I'm a total pantser.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have a publisher who's interested in a series from me, and I know they're going to want a proposal, and I've just decided I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to sign though. Ooh. So I'm going to write the book, and I'm going to send it to them, and if they want it, great, and if they don't, I'll self-publish it, and if they do want it, it's going to be with the caveat of there will be no proposals for any future books. Yeah. I'll give you maybe one line of what happens. That's all you're going to get. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. If not, I'm okay without you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Badass, ladies and gentlemen.
I just know how I work, and I'm tired of fighting it. So.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that would be the first time I stood up to a publisher like that. So that fits in with our theme of first and last.
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be the last proposal.
That will be the last proposal, and you'll relish it.
I will relish it. I don't do well with those, so... Tell us. So Jen was the one who came up with the first and last concept. So what?
This is based on I'm sure it was a blog post on, I don't know, Huffington Post or something I read years ago when my kids were still smaller. My kids just had their birthday last week and they're now 13 and 15. And I think I'd read it when probably my 15-year-old was maybe like 10 or something like that. And it was talking about that this woman wrote about it was the last time she picked up and carried her child.
Aww.
And like he'd fallen asleep on the couch or something, and she realized, oh my gosh, she's so big. I don't think I could ever.
Right.
I'm not sure I can do this again. You know, like he's so big, and she talked about relishing that moment, and that she was so glad that. She couldn't remember the last time he had held her hand or the last time, and so she was going through all these things, and having a 10-year-old at that point, I couldn't pick up my 10-year-old anymore, but I could still pick up my 8-year-old and she still would hold my hand. And so I was like, and so I remember being like very cognizant of it. And even now she's 13 and she'll be very embarrassed, but luckily none of her friends are cool enough to listen to this podcast. Right. So I don't have to worry at all. But she still will hold my hand sometimes, and I'll say, is this the last time? Because I want to know. Right. Tell me if it's gonna be the last.
So you ask her.
And she thinks I'm super weird, but I'm like, your brother, I haven't held his hand in years, and I haven't. And partly might be the girl-boy thing too, is that he pulled away at a much younger age, and so
did my son.
Yeah, and
my youngest,
and so she'll be a little bit more cuddly, but I told her the other day, I was like, I haven't held my mother's hand in. I don't know, probably 40 years at this point. Yeah. And I said, but so someday you're going to stop holding my hand. You're going to stop wanting to hang out with me or cuddle with me or bake with me or, whatever it is that we're doing. And so I just thought it would, we have a whole book of firsts.
Yes.
Of the first time they walk, or at least for our first kid we do.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I don't even have a baby book for the last several.
I was going to say, you have so many kids. You probably, I'll be surprised.
Poor babies.
I was going to say, I only have 2 and the last one doesn't have a book. So.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having 6. But I thought it would be interesting if you remember some of the last and sort of how it feels. You've had kids move out of your house now. Right. So you've had, this is the last night we all are here together.
Right.
And so I just wondered, what am I in store for, Denise? How painful is it?
Well, okay, so one thing that strikes me the most with the one that was most poignant for me is Ross, when I breastfed him till he was a year old. And I had weaned him down to 1 feeding a night. And that was our special time. I rocked him in the rocking chair, I nursed him, and then I put him to bed. But I started a night school class. Mm-hmm. And so his father put him to bed, and he was asleep by the time I got home. And I realized I hadn't nursed him. And I was like, he didn't need it. And I was like, I don't need to nurse him anymore. And so I realized that the night before had been the last time I nursed him, and I hadn't even realized it at the time. Otherwise, I would have cherished that moment. So, I mean, I do remember the last time I nursed Julia, and I was like, Lord be praise the Lord. Because she was 15 months and she wouldn't drink milk. And so I wouldn't wean her because I was wanting her to still get that. And the doctor was like, she's skinny enough, just put some flavoring in her milk. And and so we put strawberries. She loves strawberries in her milk, and she loved it. And I was like, okay, you're done. I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah. So that was the one that I think that struck me the most with Ross was a last. It was is there something about breastfeeding? It's that bond with. Did you breastfeed your children?
I did not, and so, but I've heard it's quite a strong.
But you've
bond.
And you can still get that bond with bottle feeding. Yeah. I'm not insinuating that you can't, but but that was one thing that I could do for him that nobody else could, and so that was gone, and so that I remember that stung a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So what's one that you can when it first jumps to mind when you think of the last?
I think probably the last that kind of jumps to my mind is my son, my oldest. I think about 4th grade, he did not want to be tucked in anymore really at night. It used to be he'd come downstairs, he'd be in his jammies, he'd be ready for bed, he'd come upstairs, we'd read, we'd talk about his day.
The whole routine.
The whole thing. Yeah. And one night I looked at the clock and I realized he hadn't come down, And then I went upstairs and he's up there, and I think he had did he have a phone yet? He didn't have a phone, but he had like, like a Game Boy kind of thing. And so he was on his game and he was just sort of doing his own thing. And I was like, hey, buddy, it's bedtime. Like, we don't have time to hang. And he was like, okay, cool. Good night. Like that was it. And so my mind literally like immediately jumped to, he's depressed. Something's happening at school. I'm like, it can't possibly be me or that he's getting older. And it coincided right around the same time he had parent teacher conferences. And so the teacher's giving us the report. And at the end, she's like, do you have any questions or concerns? And I said, yeah, is anything going on at school? Like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, why? I'm like, he's just really different at home. He's really distant and he doesn't want to hang out with me. And, we used to cuddle at night. And she was like, girl, he's in 4th grade. She's like, you had a good run.
You're my baby.
And she was like, yeah, he's 12 or 11 or whatever he was. She was like, yeah, no, he doesn't do that anymore. And so, it kind of hit me. And so with that, that's why with my youngest now, like, I'm just like hanging on.
Right.
And she knows that and she milks that. Like if she wants something, it's like, Mommy, come hang out with me. You might never hang out with me again. Now she wants to hang out in Ulta and Sephora, but that's where we hang. But I think that was probably the first time I realized, and it probably coincided right around the same time that I had read that, article or whatever. And it kind of all just sort of hit me that, it's like, I love having big kids.
Yeah.
I really do.
I do too. Yeah.
Like, I love that they can take care of themselves. I love that,
especially at this stage of my life.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I'm too old now to have babies and stuff like that. God bless those 40-plus moms who are chasing toddlers. Like, I could not have done that. And so I like that I like their personalities. I like that they talk to me, that they're kind of like little human beings now and stuff like that, little people. But but also, they have more drama in their lives and that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
And, but like now the big things that we are celebrating are things like, well, you can go get your driver's license now.
Right.
And that's just terrifying to me. Yeah. And, and like the other day, my daughter was out riding her bike and I said something to my son about his bike. I was like, you never ride your bike anymore. He's like, Mom, because I can almost drive now. And I was like, oh pardon
you're
me.
too cool for a bike.
And then he was like, and I'm too big for my bike. And so it's like, they're growing up and we don't have a lot of time. And I just think, and I remember my mom sort of, my mom gets very kind of like nostalgic and things like that. And so I remember when I was in college and my brother was I guess I'd graduated from college. My brother was in college, but my brother had a very serious girlfriend and it looked like things were going to progress. And it ended up that, yes, she is now my sister-in-law, but but my mom was like, we need one more trip, just the 4 of us, like one last trip so I can just be, so I can have just my 2 kids and, nothing has changed. And at the time I thought that is so weird of you. Like, please stop. Like, and I felt like it was really exclusionary to like my brother's girlfriend.
Right.
But now, like, as I'm getting there, I'm totally getting it. Where I'm just like, no, I just want like the 4 of us one more time. So,
well, and it's different once they get married and they have their own family. Because like Trace, my oldest, was married for a while, and his wife had a little boy that she brought into their marriage, and Trace, Gage was 3 when they got together and were living together and then got married. And so Trace was his dad for like 7 years. And that's a whole nother issue. Because that was really hard for Trace. But it's funny because like your children, like he was an adult. I remember when they bought a condo. And I remember so the same day, talking about first and last. So the first day that Emma went to preschool and I was alone, she's my last, was the same day that Trace and Cody bought a condo. And so it was really just kind of strange how my oldest, because they had actually been living in our basement, are moving out, moving on, being their own adults and getting their own lives. And my youngest is going into preschool and leaving me alone. And there was like a lot of, and I remember dropping her off. I wrote a blog post because back when I was a mommy blogger, I wrote a blog post about it, about how, you try to prepare your children for the world. And like all these things were going through my head, like, cause Emma was very upset with me leaving her. And so like, from what things I wished I'd told her. I wished I'd told her I'm gonna be back. I didn't tell her that when I dropped her off, and so like I knew she knew but yeah, right. She was only 3, and I was like, oh, she was so upset. I should have told her. But then I'm thinking I should have told Trace that he needs to change his furnace filter every month, and I was thinking all the things I hadn't told him about like home ownership and stuff, and so it's weird because I have like 20 years distance between my oldest and my youngest, and they're all like doing first and last at the same time. So, yes. Yeah.
Well, and I think to me, I think I sort of peg my age with my kids. So yeah, it's also like a selfish thing where it's like, as they get older, I'm getting older.
Right. Right.
So that's the other thing too, that I look at it and I'm like, no, you can't possibly, like I said, last week was their birthday. They share a birthday, and we celebrate their birthday together, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, 15 years? Like, really? Has it? But I just was, like, I just got married, like, maybe 8 years ago.
I know, right? I know. It just, yeah.
And that's, I think, part of it, too, is the selfishness of, like, me aging.
Yeah.
And so, and me being alone, I think that's the other thing, is that I keep looking around going, oh, crap, like, I'm going to be alone here soon. Like,
I know. My children keep pointing that out to me. Like, Jenna's going to go to college in 2 years, and then I'll only have 2 at home.
Yeah.
And then, and they're like, well, Emma's in 6th grade. And I'm like, shut up. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. Well, and I look at I still have grandparents that are alive, and, that's part of them too. Like, they don't want to move out of their house.
Yeah.
That's like, they don't want to move on to that next step. And looking at it from, at 47, 48 now, looking at that and thinking like, well, you should just move out.
Right, yeah.
But when it's me being 95 and digging in, like, and my kids are the ones going, move out, mother, move out. Like,
it's my house.
Yeah.
But how long have you lived in your house?
We moved in when my son was 6 weeks old, so 15 years.
Yeah. See, I've never lived anywhere that long. Like, I've moved around so much. Yeah. This is probably the longest I've lived in a house, honestly.
Wow.
I think I've been here almost 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we moved around a lot when I was a kid. And so when I got married and we decided where we were my husband's from New York City, I'm from here. And when we decided where we would settle, I was like, wherever it is, we're staying. Like,
right.
Because I was like, I had a miserable upging, like moving around and new schools and new this. And I don't want to do that. Yeah. And so we have big plans for the, in 6 years. Like, we're just counting down the days.
Party.
But
going on a cruise.
Well, and now with the way the school districts are so like lined up, you can't move if you wanted to and keep your kids in the same school.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
So we're just like, no, I'll just stay where we are. And I'm not unhappy where I am, but I just look around and I think, is this my life now? Like,
I know. Yeah.
like I used to have all these kids to take care of. All these. I say this to a woman with 6 children.
They don't take as much care as they needed before. Yeah, you can let them fend for themselves. Like, if I'm really busy, it's not uncommon for me to say, y'all, I'm not cooking dinner.
Yes.
Y'all get your own dinner tonight. So
that's what I was gonna say. One thing I don't miss that I can't remember and I don't miss was the last time I made a lunch for somebody.
Oh.
I did not celebrate that day. I was not like, yay.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I was thinking like last, and there's a lot of lasts that I've been like so excited about.
Yeah.
Like having to get up and, when your kid wakes up before you and having to get up and take care of them.
Still
like,
aren't
oh
there.
My gosh.
I need an alarm. If you're listening to this and you have a recommendation for an alarm clock that will move a 15-year-old kid out of his bed, let me know. Because I'm still going up there and kicking his bed and being like, get up.
Get up. Yeah.
So, I won't miss that when I no longer, although, it's sort of like, it'll be like when he slept through the night the first time as a baby and you ran upstairs to see if he was still breathing. And it'll be that way some morning when I wake up and he's actually up already and eating breakfast. I'll be like, are you okay? Like,
what's going on?
Do you need the doctor? So that's, there are lots of lasts that I don't miss. I don't miss the last time I had to, I think they needed their butt wiped way too long. Yeah. So I don't miss anybody yelling for toilet paper,
I don't miss driving in a car and your toddler saying, I have to go potty right now.
Right. I don't miss that. Yeah. I don't miss doing laundry for them.
Right.
I've heard from families, from friends of mine who have kids who are older, I've heard that you will miss spending your Saturdays at sporting events, but I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
They're like, I miss going to soccer and I miss going to baseball or volleyball or whatever it is. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm looking forward to sleeping in.
So do you go to all your kids' games and stuff?
I try. I mean, I don't go to their practices. I mean, I have to take them to practices and stuff. But yeah, I mean, my kids only play. We only let them play one sport at a time.
Right.
So it's not as bad, and with just 2 kids. So right now we've got basketball going on. So we'll go to all of my daughter's basketball games. It's usually both me and my husband. My son rarely goes. But just last night, though, my daughter told me that neither one of my kids really like having my husband at the games.
Oh, why?
He's very, well, he's a dad. He's just very critical. Like there's never any sort of, get the ball, get it already. There's a lot of be aggressive. And whereas I'm like, yay, you got the ball, good job.
Yeah,
and
that's me.
And so afterwards he has notes and he has and we're talking like rec ball here.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like, I mean, these kids are
it's not a competitive team.
No,
right?
Not at all. Like, this is just for fun.
He's sucking the fun out of it.
He is. Yeah. And so so he quit going to baseball. My son plays baseball, and he quit going to baseball last year. My husband did.
Oh, okay.
And so it was just me at baseball.
Right.
And I enjoy it as long as my son enjoys it.
Right.
But it would be awful to sit out there if he was miserable or something like that. But he really likes it. And so then I like to watch him play. But I can tell you that, when it is over, I will not miss sweating my ass off or freezing my ass off out there at all.
I don't think I will either.
Like, I will not drive by the ball fields with, like, melancholy and be like, remember when? Yeah. And when it is the last time, I will know it's the last time. And I'll be like, yay, good for you. We're done with this.
Was it in your group where people were talking about going to their kids' events, and somebody was like, I read something just a few days ago. It was either in your group or somewhere else where like a parent was talking about going to all of their children's sporting events. And then somebody else was like, if you do that, you're just a helicopter parent. My parents never came to any of my things. And I think it's ridiculous. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
So I must have been somewhere else because I try to go to because that's a way for me to show my children that I'm involved and I care and I want to be there and I want to be supportive. And yeah. So
I guess, there have been times when I've been out of town or something.
Yeah, there's times that I haven't gone. Well, but there's usually a reason why I haven't gone.
Well, it's interesting. One of the very first times I was out of town for baseball, I got a notification on my phone that it was like the game is starting, and there was some parent who has like this app and it's like this little Atari game looking thing, and you can see your player move around the base. So I could see like where my son was. It wasn't a video. It was just like an Atari graphic thing with, really his name. And then it would say like he's up to bat. And then I could see that he moved first. And so I was texting and I'm like, way to go. And he's like, where are you? Like, how do you see me? And I'm just like, I'm watching you. And so that was kind of nice to have. But no, I think, and my parents, they went to everything we did. I think and I don't think that's a helicopter parent. I don't
think so either.
That's another whole episode. Yeah, but no, I think that's bullshit. If you want to go. If you don't, your kids, especially these days, like it's rare to find a kid who doesn't have someone in the stands. I go to my parents go to my kids' games.
Yeah,
like some of them have several fans in the stands.
Right, exactly.
And I just think I would feel bad. It's one thing when my kids ask someone to stay home because it's not. It makes it not very fun for them, right? That kind of thing I get. But if they ask you to be there, you should be there.
Yeah, like all my kids tend to go at least to several games. Yeah, so there's like all the siblings are in the stands.
Yeah,
cheering them on. So.
Yeah, you guys would have like a whole section.
We do.
Well, and I've seen you even go, like, you have a daughter who, like, cheerleads and stuff, like, and you go watch that even. And so, it's like, you're out there for all of it.
Yeah.
And, man, I don't think I could sit out there in a very cold football game all night like that.
I bring blankets.
Yeah.
And I usually bring coffee in a thermos.
Yeah, see, I don't miss that either. My daughter did cheerleading for one season. I was like, yep, I'm done. Yeah. I'm glad we're done with this because it's cold out here.
And even like last year, they went to some playoff game. And it was so bitterly cold. But I was late to that game because, in all fairness, I was trying to find hand warmers for the cheerleaders so that they wouldn't, like, freeze their hands off. And, anyway. Yeah. And I went. But I was freezing. I was like, I can't believe I'm here. It was, like, I think, low 10 degrees. It was ridiculous. Yeah, like, the cheerleaders were going into an unheated bathroom to warm up. It was so cold. Yeah.
No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
No, see, I won't miss that when it's the last football game. I won't miss that. So I don't know. I think more of the things that I'll miss are more just the things that remind me of them being little. I do miss them being little and the unconditional love that I used to get.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Like now I'm embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like my youngest son, he's more standoffish than my other kids were, and I think part of it has to do with like he's adopted, and I didn't get him until he was 2.5, and just because of like the life he had before, and he came into a house full of kids, and I think that all just kind of plays into it. But it's just his personality. Like he's just very stoic, and he's not very emotional. It's hard to get him to smile. So when we get him to smile, it's like a total like win kind of day. So he's like, but like lately he started hugging me. And I'm like, oh, I love it. let me savor this moment because I don't know if it'll be the last. Yeah. Like it's just very spontaneous. He'll come up and hug me, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Part of me wants to say, well, what prompted this? And I'm like, no, don't ruin it.
Yeah,
don't spoil it. Yeah, so
just take it. Just take it.
Yeah,
just love it, and then let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
Looks like we're about out of time. Yeah.
I guess so.
So do you have anything coming up that you want to share with readers?
Yeah.
You got any signings or anything coming up?
Girl, this Saturday, which will be way too late for this podcast. No, I don't. Just, Denise is far more organized and ahead of the game than I am. She's got lots going on. I don't have anything ready yet. No. Nothing.
I have a book signing December 14th.
There you go.
It's in Overland Park, but I'm not releasing the name of the bookstore because they haven't posted the event yet. But it's a bookstore in Overland Park, and it's from 2 to 4, and I'll post about it when I can. And then I don't have any other signings scheduled for next year. I'm going to do some meet and greets. Yeah. So I put out a form. I'm getting ready to repost it in my group one more time, and probably next week in the newsletter, even though it's Thanksgiving, but we'll see what kind of response I get. And so I'm going to try to pick the top 3 cities that people say that they'll go to, because if 50 people say they're going to come, probably only 20 are going to show up.
That's right.
So I'm picking the top 3 cities, and I'm going to plan different times and go to those cities. That's cool. To do a meet and greet. So yeah, I'll do those.
I have a bunch of those planned still for next year, but I haven't gotten them on the calendar officially yet. And I travel all year round, so best thing to do is just check my Facebook and sign up for our newsletters, and then you'll know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And mine is you can sign up on my website, DeniseGroverSwank.com.
Mine's on my website, peopleiwannapunchinthethroat.com.
Okay, well, another great episode. Thank y'all for joining us.
Bye, you guys.
Bye. Hi, Denise here. I know you're sad because the podcast episode is over, and now you have to wait an entire week to hear us again. But guess what? You don't have to wait. You can listen to one of our audiobooks. Like to listen to true crime podcasts? I've got several mystery series to choose from. Or maybe you prefer to listen to podcasts about The Bachelor. Check out one of my rom-com series. You can find these audiobooks and many more at Audible, Apple Audiobooks, or check out my website, DeniseGroverSwank.com, and click on audiobooks in the menu at the top. Happy listening!